What's up, everybody? It's Coach Sharf. Welcome back to my Algebra 2 notes videos. And today we just got a few more examples on inverse functions where we're dealing with squares and square roots. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, flip back to the first example. All right, so first example is it's got a couple extra things on it, but it's more based on when my exponent, the 2, again, we're just sticking with squares and square roots, we're not going any higher, is on x. Okay, so we got do and undo, flip x and y. Again, I'm trying to record this relatively quickly, so I already got it partially set up. So start with x. I'm gonna put it down here at the bottom, like I always do. Again, we got to kind of look at it, what's touching x and go outward from that. In this case, the 3 and the square, the 2 exponent, are both touching x. So this is where you kind of want to lean into order of operations. What would I do first, exponent or multiplying? We would do exponent. So first thing I would do would be to, this is how I'm going to phrase it. Take the square. Because I'm going to use the same language over here when we take the square root. So I'm going to take the square, put it on there. Multiply by 3. Again, since it's still x squared, nothing else, I can just stick the 3 out in front as a coefficient. Next step, subtract 4. And end with my function notation. End with f of x. All right, so now to undo this, I'm still going to start with x. So now, again, I'm going up. So I'm going to come across from subtract 4. It's going to be my second step. It's going to be add 4. Plus 4, sticking on the x. Opposite of multiply by 3, coming across is divide by 3. So everything I got, the x plus 4, that whole thing, I'm going to divide by 3. And the opposite of taking the square, squares, roots and exponents in general are opposites. So squares and square roots, again, we've seen that sum already this year. Squares and square roots, cubes and cube roots, 4th power, 4th root, 5th power, 5th root, so on, so on, so on. So the opposite of taking the square is to take the square root. And I'm going to shorthand that SQRT, square root. So I'm going to take the square root. And when I do that, I have to take the square root of everything I got. So the whole thing is going to go underneath the square root sign, not just the x, not x plus 4. The whole thing is going to go under that. Now I'm going to finish with, end with my inverse notation, f negative 1. Oops. I don't know why it likes to do that. F negative 1 of x. All right. So now to flip x and y. Replace f of x with y. We know they're interchangeable. Then I'm going to flip x and y in my equation. X goes to the left. Now 3y squared minus 4. Now again, I'm just using algebra to solve for y. I need to get y by itself. So what do I got to get rid of? The 3, the square, and the minus 4. But I want to get the term 3y squared by itself. Then I can deal with those, but I need to get that by itself first. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides, which again matches up with the first step I did over here. X plus 4 equals 3y squared. Next step, I can't square root, because if I do that, now I have the 3 trapped underneath there as well. So I can't square root yet. I got to divide by 3. So I'm going to move that up here. X plus 4 divided by 3 equals y squared. Again, divide by 3 was my next step. So y'all can see it's still matching up, right? So now, to get rid of the square, I take the square root. Cancels here. Leaves me with y. And I square root everything over there. So the square root of x plus 4 divided by 3 is equal to y. And then again, you can either just straight up cross this out and replace it. I'm okay with that. After you cross it out, if you want to rewrite the whole thing, you can do that. Or the third thing, after, it's really a continuation of the second thing, if you want to do this, but you could even flip what's on both sides of the equal sign so it looks normal. Okay. So whatever you want to do, again, if you know, on your homework, if you're doing the algebra method, you back up. Once you get here, if you just want to cross that out and replace it with f negative 1 of x, that's fine. All right, next problem. X minus 2 quantity squared plus 5. So now the 2 isn't on x. It's outside and I have a binomial. You know, I could have a 3 on x. There's a lot of different things I can do. But now, again, it even more so looks like order of operations because I have to handle what's ever in the parentheses first, then do my exponent, and then whatever's after that. So I'm starting with x. You know, I'll put x down here. First thing I'm doing to x is subtracting 2. Subtract 2. Now I'm going to take the square. Now I'm going to take the square. So I'm taking the square, I'm squaring that entire thing that I got. Then I'm going to add 5. And I have rebuilt. I'm going to shorthand this to save time. I have rebuilt my function. All right, to undo it, I'm going to start with x. I'm going to have to move it over here a little bit. Step 2, I'm going to subtract 5. I'll still write that out. I could just do minus 5, I suppose. Subtract 5. Instead of taking the square, now I'm going to take the square root, again, SQRT, take the square root. Then I'm going to add 2. And end with f negative 1 of x. Again, I'm moving pretty quick, so you might need to slow it down or pause it and go back because I got about 20 minutes to record this before it's Tuesday, so before third period comes back from lunch. All right. So my inverse, the square root of x minus 5 plus 2. All right, flip x and y. Again, replace this. Flip x and y. I don't know why I've been using black to do that instead of blue, but anyway. X equals y minus 2 squared plus 5. So now again, I got to look at it. I got to get to this y. So it's almost easier to see from here. Basically, I got to get rid of everything, the furthest thing out, and kind of to go back in. So I got to subtract 5, which again matches. I know I didn't show it for to take the square root, but y'all get the idea after a certain point. It matches. And again, let me clarify here in the middle of the video. You don't have to do both methods for every problem. I'm doing both so y'all can see it, comparing to show y'all we're doing the same thing. Both methods wind up doing the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. It matches that. That's the net and subtract 5 there matches. That's why I'm saying that. But you don't have to do both methods for every problem. All right. X minus 5 equals, that crosses out, y minus 2 squared. So now I'm going to take the square root. Again, squares and square roots cancel each other out. So that's going to cancel out. And now I'm going to be left with the square root of x minus 5. I'm going to leave a space for a reason. Still left with my minus 2. Now I've got to add 2. And again, when I'm adding 2, I can't, the -5 is underneath the square root sign now, so I can't add it to that and get -3. It's going to go on the outside. That's why I left a little bit of space to kind of illustrate that. So square root of x minus 5 plus 2 on the outside equals y. So that cancels out. And again, you can replace that with f -1 of x. All right, pause it right now if you need to kind of absorb it, take it in. I'm moving on to the last problem because I got 10 minutes. All right, so next problem, now I have a square root. Again, I've added a couple things. Just showing y'all, doesn't matter how many steps I got. Doesn't matter if I'm starting with the square root instead of the square. Squares and square roots are still opposites. So we could solve this. The one thing I'm going to say, I might have mentioned it in the last video when I had a problem with the denominator. Again, with this being a denominator, that's the only thing I'm going to have down there. I'm not going to have like 5 plus 2 squared minus 4. Because I could just do all the math on that. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 squared is 49. Minus 4 is 45. So I can do all the math on that and get back to one number. So it's just going to be one number down there. And when I'm doing do, that'll be the last thing that I do. When I do undo, the opposite of that, multiply by 5 will be the first thing I do. And it'll eventually be the first thing I do over here with flip x and y. All right, so I'm starting with x, still got that, I'll put it here at the bottom. So again, we got to kind of look at it. We know divide by 5 is going to be last. So what's the first thing I'm doing to x? Some of y'all might say take the square root. Well, if I just took the square root now, I would have that. And then if I added 4, adding 4 would be outside. So that's not right. I got to add 4 first. So plus 4. Now I can take the square root. Again, I'm going to shorthand it SQRT. So I square root what I have. So now it's under there. Now I'm going to subtract 3. Again, it's going to be outside. I'm not doing 4 minus 3. It's going to be outside. Divide by 5. Again, I'm going to divide everything that's there by 5. So this whole thing by 5. And then end with f of x. All right, undo. Again, start with x. Yeah, I'm just going to shorthand it here. I'm going to have to move over to put it a little bit. Again, opposite everything as I go up. So first thing is going to be multiply by 5. So I'll just be sticking a 5 on it as a coefficient. Subtract 3, opposite of that is add 3. Take the square root, opposite that is to take the square. So I'm going to square the whole thing that I got right now, put it in parentheses and square it. Step 5, going to be subtract 4 on the outside. And then I'm going to end with my inverse notation. Dang it, keeps doing that. F -1 of x equals 5x plus 3 quantity cubed minus quantity squared, excuse me, minus 4. All right, flip x and y. Replace that. Flip x and y. So x equals square root of y plus 4. Minus 3 over 5. Now I can start doing my math. First thing, multiply by 5 gets rid of that. So 5 times x over there, it's just going to be 5x. equals the square root y plus 4 minus 3. So first thing we know we got to get rid of is the 5. Now, let me slide down a little bit. Oops, slide a little bit. I did not erase. Now, again, I can't square this to cancel it out, because if I do that, I'm squaring the negative 3 too. It's going to cause issues. Okay. I can't do, I know I can't do 4 minus 3. I can't do subtract 4 first because it's trapped. So it's going to leave me with add 3. All right. I'm going to move it over here. 5x plus 3 equals the square root of y plus 4. So I multiplied by 5, added 3. Now I'm going to square both sides. Again, you can put this in parentheses if you want. Square it. Square and the square root cancel out. I'll put that in parentheses and square it. So 5x plus 3, quantity squared. Again, I'm going to leave a little space here. Equals y plus 4. Now the last, so I took the square. Now I subtract 4. Again, it's going to go outside. I'm not going to do 3 minus 4. It's going to go outside. So 5x plus 3 squared minus 4 equals y, which matches what I got over there. Again, you don't have to do both. I'm going to keep stressing you don't have to do both. But I got the same thing when I did both methods, which is showing y'all you can do either way. And then replace that with f negative 1 of x. All right, so I'll leave that up for a second for y'all to kind of absorb it. Let me see if I can slide back up a little bit, squeeze the whole problem in there. So there's the 3 examples. I got it in under my time limit. No, I rushed it a little bit. You can slow it down. Go back and watch it again if you need to. But that's using squares and square roots in inverse functions. So I hope that helps. I hope it helps you study. Good luck on the test. See y'all in class.